going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Marielle, and today I'm going to be reacting to Toph would lose. So I don't know if you guys know this or not, but I reacted to Gara versus Toph, and in that it said Toph would win. So here's the video proving that she would lose, unfortunately. So let's check it out.
I remember this. Guess it would be fun to revisit this and refute it, even though it has been over 2 years. Anyone who has watched Avatar: The Last Airbender and at least some of Naruto should have been able to figure out what was wrong with Screw Attack declaring Toph the winner of their Toph versus Gara death battle. However, most viewers apparently liked it, so I can't overestimate their intelligence. Screw it.
I mean, I think it's more of, people who agreed with it, because I was one of them, because of the facts that they laid out and the way they said it. Every time Gara did something, they'll be like, oh, well, actually, he does this, but she can do this, or whatever. So let's see how this person debunks all that. My pajama pants. They're planets, by the way.
Attacks apparently, and it's very easy to explain why.
No, these are planets.
Is so dense and fast, only someone who can move nearly the speed of sound can pass it.
This is one of many reasons a fan of Avatar would be skeptical of Toph's victory. Toph is nowhere near as fast as the speed of sound. It's one of many great divides between the two universes. Chunin exams, but he still eventually lost. Speaking of moving fast,
I feel like the only reason why Lee lost is because he was just fighting to fight, because it was, part of the tuning exams. But Gara was dead ass fighting to kill. Before he got his Jinchuriki taken away, this Gara was savage. Like, this guy did not care what the assignment was, like what they had to do, whether it was during the forest part of the tuning exams down to this part. He was just aiming to kill. Like, he did not care who you were. Unless you weren't his siblings, you were practically dead to him. You are dead because he was going to kill you, but whatever. So I think that's the only reason why they lost. Because if Gara was just fighting to win the tuning exam part of that part, then I think it would have been, but because Lee didn't know that that's how he was pulling up, intent to kill, I think Lee would have fought harder if he knew what was going on with Gara. But, that's the whole separate video. If you guys want to talk about it more, comment down below.
I can see in their list of feats of strength, Screw Attack directly states that Gara can move his sand faster than the eye can see. Can Toph do that with any of her attacks?
Well, she can.
No.
Now, I just want to say this. Not just agreeing because the person in the video is saying this. I just really need to watch both videos in comparison just to see, like, who would I agree with more. But if they're laying out facts, there's not really much I can disagree on. Because if it's fact, then it's fact. In the wording of her Wikipedia page, some mastery is not the same. It's just like Aang didn't master all the elements. He just knew how to do them. If you remember in the show, I think Toph was the one who said that he knows how to earthbend, but he's not a master. Like, he hasn't mastered it yet.
Screw Attack inadvertently makes Toph seem like a complete idiot. Why risk dying the slow, painful death of dehydration when she could simply turn the sand around her into stone or soil and land surf her way to get help for herself and her friend?
True.
Silly Toph. But to illustrate it even further, look at Season 3, Episode 7, The Runaway. This is prior to Toph's sandcastle creation, but after she supposedly turned some sand into stone at the library. She and Katara are captured and thrown into a wooden jail cell. They want to escape, but because the cell is made of wood, Toph is rendered helpless. Which is kinda stupid, considering Toph should easily have been able to sense the earth around them and use it to break out, not to mention the metal jail cell directly adjacent to theirs, which she also should have been able to use to break out, but hey, I did say every episode of Avatar makes sense. Some sand seeps into Toph and Katara's cell, after which Toph immediately says she wishes they had some bendables like earth or water.
I wish we had some earth or water. We need bendables.
But Toph, some sand just fell into your cell. Can't you use that to escape? No? Oh, well, how about you turn it into stone then? Or at least turn it into earth. Then you could break your way out no problem. Silly Toph. A principle that in and of itself would guarantee Toph's death in a fight against Gara. What is the principle? Even if it doesn't make sense, Toph's sand-bending abilities will always be inherently week. Let's come back to the runaway episode. Toph ignoring the sand falling into her jail cell is no random mistake. It's just one among a gajillion pieces of evidence that illustrates Toph's helplessness when it comes to sand. She should have been able to bend sand with no trouble at all from day one, and yet she can't. Why? So what's the point of all this? Why go over all this material? What does this have to do with Toph battling Gara? Well, you should know the answer by now. It's everything.
Yeah.
Wiz said she mastered sand bending, and he couldn't be more wrong. She would be walking into this battle with a massive handicap against a man who specializes in attacking with the very thing she fails to bend effectively. Her weakness is his greatest strength. She would lose and lose badly. I know some would argue that given enough time, Toph may overcome that handicap.
Yeah, I don't know why I agreed with the first video. Now that I'm thinking about it, that was really dumb of me, huh? Anyways, also, it really doesn't make sense how Gara will lose because, like he said, that's his only ability. Like, he has nothing else. It's like Flash losing in a race. Bro, that's your only ability. It's your only ability.
And dueling King Boomy to a standstill. And
I love
that guy's
King Boomy.
conquered an entire hostile city by himself.
No, she did not. They show you one panel of this comic. Let me show you the rest. Toph and Boomy did not duel to a standstill. They were made to stop fighting. And if you'll notice, Zuko stopped Toph by grabbing her by the wrist and telling her to stop, whereas it took the combined forces of Uncle Iroh, Katara, Master Piandao, Pakku, and Zhang to get King Boomy to settle down. This was no standstill. It was a duel cut short by outside forces. Outside forces that deemed it necessary to use much more force to quell Toph's opponent than Toph herself.
And that's after conquering Earth Rumble 4. She even won the Earth Rumble 4 tournament multiple times, defeating an entire army almost single-handedly.
Let's really talk about it. The people in the Rumble were weak, like compared to Toph. So we already knew that from the moment we seen the show. They were whack.
That never happened. Watch this entire battle if you don't believe me. There's like 2 or 3 Dai Li soldiers and Azula, and Aang does most of the fighting. What were they watching? How does this count as Toph defeating an entire army almost single-handedly? This doesn't prove Toph would lose the death
I want to
battle.
get back
What
into
it
the
proves
fight,
is
though.
Screw Attack had no idea what in the world they were talking about. Heck, even when they acted like they knew what they were talking about, they didn't know what they're talking about. Here's a couple more fun facts, though. The very next note that pops up on screen says that the only type of earth Toph has trouble with is sand. Well, go figure. We already knew that. The next one says that sand is a major problem for Toph in the desert. I guess Screw Attack missed that one.
But her real strength lies in her precision and technique. With her earthbending and seismic sense, she could see Gara's attacks coming the instant they began, regardless of if he was in the air.
Toph can't see the fists always flying at her, because they're flying through the air.
Regardless of if he was in the air.
They're flying through the air.
Regardless of if he was in the air.
They're flying through the air.
This
It's
guy
almost
is
like
sassy.
he's completely wrong. Screw Attack stands refuted by the creators of Avatar themselves, and that was one of their biggest reasons for thinking Toph would win in the first place, but it's not true. I could go on with all the other in-fight problems, but I think you can understand why it's unnecessary. Screw Attack treated Toph as a much mightier warrior than she is in reality. They've been
Okay, I'm embarrassed to admit that me agreeing with the original creators of the video, I apologize. But like he said, it wouldn't last long because she can't see. She has a hard time in sand, even though now she can bend a little bit of it. She just can't see things that are flying in the air. And Gara's sand is mainly that because it comes from his thing. He barely uses the sand that's on the ground unless he's back at home in this unless he's back home fighting. But majority of the time his battles are not back at the village hidden in the sand.
behave as if she wouldn't be thrown off her game
And
or frankly
no one
even be
survives
damaged
sand
at all.
coffin.
But at the end of the day, Toph is a human with normal physical vulnerabilities. She has no healing factor and little to no resilience when she does get hurt.
My fighting days are over. Don't tell Cora, but my back is killing me now. This is why you didn't see Katara messing with that Civil War nonsense. At some point, you gotta leave it to the kids.
For Screw Attack to suggest she could last long enough to beat someone like Gara is utter nonsense. But why would Gara win? Just how powerful is he? If he and Toph fought over the control of his sand, who would win? Well, we will answer all of those questions and more in another video.
Right, I wish we put it in this one. Alright, let's talk about it. I will say it again, I'm embarrassed to admit that I agreed with the original video, because now looking back at this battle, the little clips that he's putting into this video, where is she getting all these things from? Like, they're in sand. Where is she getting this from? But that's besides the point. I do want to see the Gara one, so you guys will be seeing that one soon. It's just not possible with Gara's abilities and hers that lack his. They should have had this not in the desert, but on Earth, like with rocks and shit, so she can have at least something. Gara's just, he's fast. That's it. Like she can't combat that, because we haven't seen her fight somebody as fast as Gara not in her show, but in her world. Nobody in Avatar: The Last Airbender, like he said, is fast enough. If you guys want to see the full original video, it'll be down the sorry, I almost stuttered. It'll be down in the description box below, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you guys thought about this down in the comment section below, and I'll be looking forward to having a discussion with you guys. And I'll see you guys in the next video.